Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
No, I could just. How about this one?
That's a evacuation. That is not an intro.
Well, that just means that shows that everybody knows that we've been having technical difficulties.
Just a little
bit. Well, it's okay. Nobody needs to see me. I mean, I'm not. Now not seeing Chester. Now that's a loss. Not seeing this beautiful.
Exactly.
Not seeing him. Might be a loss. So.
We can't stand without Chester. I mean, Reed, you can just be in the background. It's fine.
Nice. So hello, Ken. Hello, Ken. I like the photograph. I was particularly pleased with the Julian in front of the door photograph. I was like, there it is. Good stuff.
Okay. Where are you at, Ken?
Well, you want to take a guess? I could turn around. You can see behind me here.
Disneyland.
Oh boy, there it is.
Oh, look at that!
I love those.
Live streaming from
Lego Power, man.
It's so loud here, I can barely hear you guys. So I'll be only on for a second. So I'm at the Lego Store Orlando.
Nice.
This place is insane, like super busy for being 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Of course, it's the weekend before Christmas.
No. I went to that store like August at like.
Oh, it's always crazy. Yeah.
A Tuesday at 10 o'clock at night, and it was wall to wall.
No. Yeah. That's like both Disney stores, both the West Coast and the East Coast Disney stores. They're insane. I don't go there if I'm trying to buy anything like Pick Brick or something, because if you try to like fill more than one cup, literally people steal your cups from you and buy them.
Yeah.
Hey Ken, don't forget to get waivers for all those people that are appearing on our stream. All the people in the background.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
That's realistic.
Yeah,
you just can tell the people in the background, hey, guess what? You were on a live stream tonight.
Yeah, there you go. There's that little like build your own minifig stand, and there's just minifigs scattered across the entire floor. Like it just makes me cringe, like seeing all the minifigs there.
You know what happens at the end of the night? They just sweep it up and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. It makes me sad.
Yeah,
like I just want to pick them up. Like it's so sad. There's a cool dragon over here in the water. I don't know if you can see that. See that behind me over there?
Looks like Brickley.
Yeah, Brickley.
Is that what that is?
Yep.
I can get a little closer to him. Maybe. Intrude on people's space here.
Yeah, can you make sure you invade people's personal bubbles? I want that as much as possible.
How do I, There we go. I figured out how to switch cameras. What was that?
We get to see what's on the pick-a-brick wall?
Yeah, staring at it. It's not anything exciting, unfortunately. I mean, there's definitely a much bigger wall, but it's a lot of duplicates and just pretty much everything I've seen at all the other stores.
Well, and the wall usually is just, especially the Disney stores, like half of it's not actually real bricks. So.
You should just walk through this. You should just walk over to the wall and just show just point the the phone at the wall. Just be like, if somebody asks you what you're doing, it's got like a bunch of friends that are online right now. They just want to see what's on the wall right now. So
Yeah, I could do that.
I found you.
I mean, I'll walk past this display over here and
make sure you tell them that you're currently live streaming with an audience of 6.2 million viewers.
There we go.
That'll get people. That'll get some eyebrows.
A girl just walked past with the same sweatshirt I'm wearing.
Is it
how embarrassing is that?
Hey, I want to jump in there and play.
Now, what did they take out of there? Because I know they took a model out of there.
I meant to grab my headset before coming in here, so I'm gonna have to keep the phone kind of close to my ear.
Just fly casual, Ken. Fly casual.
And you're on the big screen anyways, you're fine.
Oh, they got these cool mugs. I found my name, but unfortunately, it's not the shortened version. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
Do they have Bort?
So here's the wall. Minus.
Oh, I like the yellow.
Oh, here you want the panoramic view?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, goes around the pillar, way over there. So it's a cool looking wall, but like there's even duplicates right here on the wall, and like I said, a lot of it's stuff I've seen.
What's the purple? Is that the 2x3 plate?
What color?
Dark purple?
No, that's 2x4.
2x4 purple? Oh, that's lavender. Oh, okay.
Yeah, lavender. Yeah. I can't remember if I've seen these red tiles before.
What size?
You can see my awesome hands after working all day.
All I see is blurriness.
Hey, Ralph.
I assume there is a
Howdy.
Ken is at Disney Springs showing us the pick-a-brick ball.
Yeah, I see that.
Are you looking at the chat, Reed?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. All right.
No, I can't pull up the chat on my phone. I don't think.
Oh, you're fine. You're good. No.
Yeah, no, you don't. Don't worry about it, Ken. It might explode on you.
Yeah, right.
Is it getting?
Like
is your
you're
phone
walking
getting
around, I'm
super
like, oh,
hot?
what's under my shoe? Oh, it's a brick.
Yeah,
Like,
anytime I
bricks all
stream
over
on
the
my
floor here.
phone, it starts to get on fire.
I would go back to the car and get my headset, but it was a hell of a walk to get in here.
Oh no, that's good.
There we go.
Oh yeah, there's the rest of the store, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty busy.
Yeah, I could try turning the phone. I don't know. Is that better?
A little bit. I've only been to that store once, so it's much bigger than the Disneyland one.
I muted it. That looks pretty cool. I haven't been there in a while. I don't know if I've been there since the new stores has been there. So
It's been a long time, Ralph. How you doing?
Here, I'll take you over to the build your own fig station. Oh, it looks like they swept it up. The floor was crazy messy down there.
They probably swept it up because of the tripping hazard.
I mean, you can see I can't even get close to it.
That's pretty cool. So Ralph, how you been?
I've had a couple of weeks.
You say a couple rough weeks? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Well, that's a bummer.
But I figured I'd better pop in and say hi and try to get back on the stream, as it were.
We'll never forget you, Ralph.
Yeah. Well, how could you? 6
How
foot
we could.
like Frankenstein.
We would never forget you.
That's okay. You got in after all the technical difficulties, so you're cool.
Yeah, you got in. So yeah, what's good is you got in for the pre-show, which was 30 seconds long.
Hey. So
Yeah, you couldn't hear or see me, which is great. When you can't see or hear the host, it's a great show.
Yeah.
I agree.
Ooh, I want that. Ken, give me those Lego houses. I want one of those. That one
Oh
right there.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
Christmas,
Ken, can you buy me one of those?
Yeah, I think it's an exclusive at the store, isn't it?
No, they
Yeah.
have it at Lego stores too, but they only get like two or three at a shipment.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have one sitting behind the counter already, and they have 2 more sitting here on the shelf. You want me to send you
I'll
one,
take
Reed?
one. Yeah, I need one. I'm sure I can find something to trade
I
for
bought
cash.
one of those from a vendor at
Yeah, no problem. I'll get you one.
Brick Fair for $50.
It's twice what it's worth.
Yeah, I know.
I was looking on eBay the other day too, so it's kind of ironic that Ken's in a place where we can buy one from. Yeah, so Ken, you can get me that. That'd be great. Yeah, yeah. What I'm talking about. Yes.
It's a fun set.
That was I love it. That was good. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
I might hyperventilate a little bit. Well, it's that set and then this great, awesome shirt. You know, this awesome shirt. Cool.
All right, I'm gonna bail out of here. I'll catch you guys in a little while.
Okay, bye.
Sounds
Ken.
good.
If you could
Ken.
get that Lego store set for Reed, that'd be awesome.
So Marianne, since you're new to my stream, why don't you introduce yourself? Since you're, somewhat of a celebrity, I guess, in some circles, right?
Yeah, only in the Lego world.
Right.
Hi guys, my name is Marianne S. Numa. I am a former Lego master model builder at Legoland, California, and I'm now a freelance Lego artist. And according to Blocks magazine, I am one of the top 10 in the world, and apparently the only woman on the list. So that's kind of cool. But I was also the first female freelance Lego artist, which was kind of cool too. So that's basically my background.
There was no British pound bribery in that, right? That was all.
No. No British pound bribery. Might have been trading of sets. No, just kidding.
All right.
Is this the new Lego room in Utah, right? You're in Utah now?
Yeah, I mean, it's like right now it's kind of a serious mess because I was doing one of those super sorts. I don't know. You know when you get like you want to like sort out all your sets and your mixed Lego and stuff, and then I kind of like got busy, so now it's just a mess in my background right now.
Brickhead family, finally some talent in this stream. But Brickhead fam, Nick, you're talent when you're in here. You're A-list celeb, man. You're the voted sexiest man of Rockford. I mean nominated. It's an honor to be nominated.
What are you building, Kevin?
Excuse me. This thing.
Because it's so shiny and pretty.
This is Pop Star Dressing Room, released in 2015.
Well, that must be your dressing room, right? Because aren't you a pop star?
Yes.
You are the star of Forever Sorting, aren't you? Are you not?
Well, I have a lovely partner in crime who is in the chat right now, actually, as we speak. Julian, aka King of the Pink Bucket Nation. I think King, right? King, I think. Leader of the Pink Bucket Nation. Collecting Bricks has a question for you, Marianne.
Oh, where do I even find that stuff? I don't.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, what does it say?
How do you feel? No, we're not going to actually ask that question. That question has been removed. Has been redacted. No, so the question is, how do you feel about? Okay, you know what? Let me rephrase this. When you are putting your minifigs away in your collection, how do you sort your minifigs, if you sort them at all?
Mostly by theme, but I just basically throw them in Ziploc bags into a set of storage drawers.
Okay, so do you take them apart or do you keep them assembled?
Oh, no, I keep them together unless I need them for something, because I'm not really, I don't build in minifig scale that often. Like, in fact, I would show pictures of my Winter Village, except my cat, which is fairly new cat. I've only had him for a few months. He's, playing Godzilla on my table, and it keeps knocking things over.
Okay, all right.
So I've been using my minifigs for that, but I don't use it for most things, so they just sit in boxes for the most part.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
When you do, on your rare occasions, use them. Do you swap the hands out for the right color for the right situation? Is that a normal practice?
Yes, I do. Like with my Winter Village, because I wanted to have some, more racially diverse people in there.
Sure. Okay. All right.
I used the Leslie Jones head from the Ghostbusters set and put her in like a Christmassy outfit.
Yeah.
And so I switched out her hands, but see, in Ghostbusters, she doesn't have, her hands. She has gloves on, right? Yeah. So I had to switch them with, I think I used like orc hands or something, something like that. That was it was either Lord of the Rings thing, I think, but I switched out their hands, or either that or an Ewok, one of those two.
So would you say then it would be maybe as a future potential sorting method, maybe it's easier to have a pool of different hands that you can put the colors you need as you need them.
Probably.
Versus having to remove from a stockpile and swap them out. Is there some kind of merit to that concept?
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. All right. Okay. That's good.
But
good
of course, then there's also the option of, adding hands as, building materials for like using as mechas or whatever other things. So there's the whole aspect of using hands for other things.
See?
Or like piles, that kind of stuff.
I'm so glad you said that, Marianne.
So Kevin, you might as well show her, what you're trying to describe, since this is like almost an instant, super sort right now.
What do you mean? Well, I was just asking a question that Collecting Bricks posted in the chat. That's all I was doing.
No, but we want to see Marianne's, true face after you show her, your method.
No, Nick, see, setup. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no setup. This is organic conversation.
Organic.
Here, I'll do what he's talking about here. See this perfectly good, and here I'm gonna put me on the big screen so we don't need to have Kevin. You see this perfectly good dragon right here? We're gonna do what Kevin does here, and we're gonna pluck his hand off. Okay, now he's a handless dragon. We'll stick that in the bin of hands, and we'll just. I don't know how my minifigs would
rip off like special minifigures, like the extra torsos in plain colors kind of thing.
Now, Marianne, you can't start discriminating.
He avoided the question.
If you want to keep the perfectly good dragon together,
is it all? It's either it's all in or it's not.
That's true. Actually, I don't really care that much because I'm not one of those people that's so precious.
We actually have another new streamer this week too. He joined us while you guys were in discussion. Richard, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I'm Richard.
Hey, Richard.
Hello. I know Marianne. I've seen you at Brick World quite a few times.
Yes.
And Kevin.
Hello again, sir.
Hello. And of course, Reed. I was hoping to get to meet Ralph while we were out in Colorado, but didn't.
Oh, wait. I was going to. Hey, Richard.
Hey. But yeah, I'm from Arkansas. And I enjoy building primarily trains. Although I did build an RV park for a layout for a show that we did. I built the RV park while I was living in an RV full time. So that was fun.
Do you like your new house?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
It looks amazing. I want to visit it.
I am in the Lego room. So my Lego room is basically the upstairs of our second building. We live on 3 acres.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I'm basically on top of a 3-car garage, and that's basically my Lego room.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yes, that's what I want.
You gotta get an RV first, Reed.
Oh, is that how it works? You buy an RV and then buy a house that does this?
Yes.
The RV is right outside of this building, actually. So.
Well, at least with 3 acres, you got somewhere to park it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was one of the things that we wanted when we were buying a house, is we wanted to be able to park the RV at home.
Yeah.
Shut up, Kevin.
Oh,
Shut
look at
up,
that.
Kevin. Shut up, Kevin.
Oh, look at that. We've got Mr. Bricksmith is in the house.
Hey, you gotta follow your own rules.
I'm following the rules and telling you to shut up now. Shut up, Kevin.
Don't force me to time you out. You know, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Wait a minute.
There. I got company too.
Hold on. Is that Brick Jams?
That is Brick Jams.
Okay, so all right. Is Brick Jams at Bricksmith's house or is Bricksmith at Brick Jams' house?
Great question.
I guess we'll never know.
Jamie's house is still broken.
Okay.
So
that would be a reasonable answer to that question then.
There. Does that tell you whose house we're at?
That tells me whose house.
Okay. Kevin, shut up.
Cool.
It's great to meet everybody. It's awesome. I'm Brick
Hello.
Smith.
Hi.
That's Bricksmith.
Good, Richard. You made it in. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then, Ralph's been on here before. Ralph's got his layout behind him. He's on the big screen right now. So, done anything new? Oh, and there comes Nick. Nick's in. Nick's in the house too.
Collecting, I didn't play it down. I just properly explained the situation and the question.
It was leading the witness.
No, it was not. Are you a lawyer? Are you a lawyer, Nick?
I could be. I did stay at a Holiday Inn once.
No, you're qualified then.
I got a piece of paper off the internet that says I can do that. Hello, Brick Vibe.
Yep, Brick Vibe's in the house, along with M&R Productions, collecting bricks. Oh, Ken's back. Ken must have maybe got somewhere quieter than Disney Springs. Oh, look at that. He did.
Yeah, I found my car.
Nice.
That's
Figured
pretty
I
cool.
can at least chat while I'm driving to the hotel.
Nice.
We like those driving streams. I've done a few of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out where I'm going and stuff, and then I figured I'd just listen in and chat back as needed.
Nick, I like that bucket. That's pretty nice.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on a sticker for mine.
Is there a winner of your cookie contest yet, or no?
No, we're still leaving it open. It's close. I think it's tied actually between all three of them.
Oh, that's not fun at all.
Ah.
But of course, that was not fun. Like throwing that up to me like that. It's like, come on, come on. Not fair. Not fair. So yeah.
Yeah.
So what is everyone working on tonight?
I am building a Lego set.
That sounds like fun. Is that the party bus you're working on?
Yeah. Pop star dressing room.
Ah.
Kevin wants to feel pretty.
Don't you remember this iconic Lego set from 2015?
Oh yes. I always thought the half skirt weird fabricy things were kind of strange. They might be useful for something else, but I don't know.
Oh yeah. There's opportunity.
Well, of course, I see opportunity in pretty much anything. But
I am counting Lego parts. I am kitting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you nulling them before you count them?
No. No, very much not.
Building it up there. But see, Ryan, I build every Lego set because I do want to experience the build. I want to see the new parts or the new colors. I want to see the techniques. I want to experience the build of it, but I don't want to display it because in my opinion, I see displaying Lego sets as displaying a completed puzzle. Like I did it and it's cool, and I go get some spray glue and I spray it and I put it in a frame and I put it on my wall. And I'm like, I did that. But see, I don't feel like I did that. I feel like I followed instructions like anybody else could. But I do enjoy it, and I want to build it. But yeah, they will get taken apart.
So what do you think, Kevin? What do you think of collecting bricks? Point in the chat. Isn't that possibly true? You maybe if you showed Marianne your bin, you know, she might not want to see.
The thing is, Marianne, is that I take the minifig hands out of my minifigs because I sort them by heads and legs and torsos and hands.
Yes, but how many minifigs do you have?
A lot.
So do I.
Of a lot.
Like
So-
a lot.
Yeah.
Just show her the yellow minifig hand bin, and that's all you really have to show.
Well, yeah. So here's hold on.
I love how Kevin is going to, you know, die on this hill.
I will. So this is like my hands.
Right.
Obviously, this is misleading. That there is a gallon zip top bag full of yellow hands.
That's kind of scary.
Like what you just said, I will often use all kinds of different color hands. I'll use them in mocks.
Yeah.
I'll use them as a building element. And I find it easier to start fresh and put in what I want versus always taking out and swapping and all that kind of stuff. So
That makes sense, I guess.
So that's what I do. And this wonderful group of people want to make me feel like I'm insane.
I don't think you're insane.
You're insane.
It's all right, Kevin. You were just a Black Dahlia murderer in past life.
No, you know what it is? You know what it is, everybody? I'm just a trendsetter. And in a couple of years, you're all going to be doing it. And then, I'll be like, oh, look at this.
We're already sorting everything by part and color anyway. So, I mean, come on.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Problem is I'm running out of space, especially because Lego keeps making new parts, which I'm not complaining about the new parts, but finding spaces for the new parts.
Minifig mutilization collecting bricks is a little strong.
So here's I found some of my pictures. Here's the what do you call it? Panoramic view of my old apartment collection there. Kevin's seen it, so he's been able to move his head to see the whole thing. So that's what it used to look like. That's the panoramic view.
I think Reed is out of room, or was out of room.
Yeah, actually, it's all in a undisclosed storage location.
Been there, done that. I'm slowly working on that. That's one, I guess, good thing about moving out of a house and moving into an RV for a year is now I get to completely resort all of my Lego.
You know what's the problem with that though? Because moving from Silicon to Utah is, so I have like a lot of, like I said, most of my Lego is sorted by part and by color. And if I can carefully pick up my laptop real quick, I can show you the other side that I'm facing, which is, see all these bins right here? All those.
See, that would be the black pearl.
Those are all by part and color, or by type or whatever. And so the problem is by resetting up my space because of how my space is organized. I can't remember where things are now because if you had your setup I had it for like 5 or 6 years the other way. And now I'm like, okay, I think it's not on that. It's not in that set. It's over here. And I still can't figure out where things are half the time.
That is a problem.
It is a problem because when I'm trying to build, it's frustrating. And then I end up ordering more parts. Like I need more parts.
Yeah.
I have 6.5, 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper on both sides of my entire set sealed collection that I moved because I actually, as Kevin said, I was able to catalog it when I boxed it up, which was quite entertaining, if you might say. I'm actually trying to add the poly bags to brick set right now, just so I know what I could donate. Possibly, I can do a last-minute donation to the Children's Hospital, possibly next week, maybe if somebody's working Christmas Eve. Otherwise, I'll have to wait. But Yeah. So I mean, it's crazy. I mean, let's see. I go from A to I did A, and then I did. And I started for some reason. I started Z. So I have A to Z, ZA.
Wait, you went A.
ZZ.
Wait, hold on.
I'm confused here now.
You went A to Z, like A, and then you skipped everything, or you went A through Z, like you did the
A through Z,
okay.
and then I went CA through ZZ,
What?
and then I started double A again. So I've got 54 boxes, and so far I've only cataloged up through M right now.
So
Now,
you know,
Reed,
what
are you
you could
planning
do-
on ever opening the sets, or are you just keeping them closed?
Well, if Assembling Hope ever takes off, hopefully I could maybe sell those to the
Okay.
to the nonprofit. Yeah.
see what you should do, Reed, is you should write all of your notes in Latin and backwards, so that only you will be able to know what you have.
Well, that's why I'm trying to move it to Brickset, so that way it's somewhere digitally that I know when I go shopping, I don't buy another 10 of something I have. But you know what's funny is after the show last week, I did have to go make sure I could get what everybody was talking about, because I had my one Walmart hadn't had the poly bags yet, and so I found the one you built last week, the Lego Movie 2.
Yeah.
And I found the snow one, and then of course I found the new Ninjago Dragon one. So
I've only seen the Ninjago and the train set, the Christmas one.
which one? Oh, the train. Yeah, these were all at Walmart. They're all in their holiday area, I think.
Yeah, I checked, but they didn't have the other ones. They just had the Ninjago and the Christmas one. I was at the one by my house.
Ninjago.
Yeah, I need to. I mean, I bought a few of each. I need to keep looking to see if there's more out there. But the one Walmart I had didn't have it, so I drove across town to the Super Center and they had them, but they only had a few. I pretty much bought, I think, what they had, even though it was only a few. But so, and then actually, Kevin's been challenging me to build, a micro scale Hope Castle, which for some reason this camera now is on the. Which side is the? Yeah, see, this is on the wrong side here. Here we go. Okay, now we can see. So Kevin's been challenging me to build a micro Hope Castle. So he built a tower, and so I kind of copied his tower, and I built it so I could sit on a plate, or using a funky technique of just just building it so it sit like kind of in a moat, but a little bit more brick intensive.
Did you connect with Brick Vibe?
I did message him, but I haven't totally connected with him.
No, that's fine. But you guys are in some type of communication.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then I built it so it was just like my larger model. It actually is in sections. Whoop, 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 and it's falling apart as I do this. I guess that happens when it's 1x2s and 1x1s. It's all in different sections, so technically you could do different colored ribbons. So kind of neat, little thing. I just got to build a new base, I guess, would be the kicker. So.
Yeah.
Well, that or get might need to get bigger tiles because each level had to be a little bit taller to get the tile in there because they only had like 1x1s. So that's kind of cool. This is kind of something that Kevin and I were thinking maybe do something like that and then be able to sell a module to raise funds for the nonprofit. So just got to make a base that's less piece intensive. So.
Yeah,
for sure.
So why do you have the base that piece intensive?
I think I just did it because of the moat. I mean, this one was just kind of just a basic plate, some tiles. But I wanted to get the moat look, so I did it kind of sideways. Built it,
Well, why
just
don't you like 1x2 blue tiles, light trans blue tiles around it. Make it just set on there. That'd be easier.
Yeah, kind of like the first one, but just more tiles on this one around the edge. I probably have plenty of those. They were on the wall at one time, so I do have my bag. Yeah.
Well, I am an expert in architecture, both micro and regular scale.
That's good. And then Kevin's our resident graphic artist too. You know.
That's right. That's right. I know a guy.
You know a guy.
I know a guy.
I heard he collects hands too.
I don't necessarily collect hands. I just organize them in a structured fashion.
Uh-huh.
Oh, is that what kind of fashion it is?
That's what he's calling it.
I've never gone out of my way to collect more hands. Although, actually, now that I say that, though,
you don't buy them on Bricklink in bulk?
the ones I really like, which I think are really funny, are the hands that come with like the giant minifigs that are like keychains and stuff. They're like overscaled.
Oh yes.
Hands still pop out of the big ones. So you can have like these giant minifigure hands that are the exact same scale and size of regular hands. Also, like the shoulder pauldron came off of the pirate.
Uh-huh.
So I had like a regular minifigure with giant shoulder pauldron on. Those are pretty funny if you can get those parts off of the bigger figs. They look kind of goofy. Let's see.
Yeah, one of the kids did that at one of her shows. They switched the minifigs hands with the bigger hands, and yeah, it looked pretty awesome.
Nice.
It looks like it's coming along, Kevin. So Ralph, did you work on were you working on your train station or something recently on your layout?
Yep, I added a few things to the. Well, I dusted it off. It was in bad need of cleaning, and I added a platform bridge across there.
Yeah, I feel sorry for all those ambulance drivers in your town that are out of work because the minifigs aren't getting hit by the train anymore.
There'll be another calamity. I'm just got to decide what it will be yet.
Well, you could have, I guess you could put the firefighters and the ambulances work. Maybe you need like a forest fire of sorts maybe through there. I don't know. It'd be more realistic for your neck of the woods.
Forest fire is entirely possible. I've got a couple sets that I'm working on there.
I have lots of trees that are still on. I have some Lego trees that are still on fire from what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, the Rialto Theater show. It was like 5 years ago, yeah. And then,
they're still burning.
Here.
That's a
you see this, what I'm working on now.
Those guys.
Those are the Crocagator Army and Ghillie.
Nice.
Those are awesome.
I approve.
So funny thing about hands tonight. I've been taking hands off quite a bit tonight, so I can get.
You don't say, Ralph.
Too.
Don't feed the beast.
Just to back up Kevin, I do take some hands off of my minifigures and have a small collection of them setting aside so that I can customize various figures.
That sounds very reasonable, Ralph. You strike me as a very reasonable person.
Probably those Crocs, because those Crocs have a lot of custom armaments on them. So
they do not. Just a couple of machine guns and sniper rifles. There's nothing customized there.
They definitely look like they'll blend in, especially a couple look like they'll blend in right in the Arctic. Can I use them as make sure they're snipers so they're shooting at whatever's coming towards the castle?
Oddly, that was the intent. I've got some Arctic ghillie suits and some jungle ghillie suits.
Nice.
So
yeah, I got to work on the castle a little bit more. Obviously, as you can see, this was my project last week. I was trying to fix some of the corners that weren't as textured. Actually, this is the bad one. Where's the good one? This isn't the right one. This is actually pretty.
Do you have nothing to build, Nick?
No, I'm just hanging out tonight. But I do have a question for you, Kevin. Do you pay all your friends to back you up on all this stuff, or what?
Oh yeah,
and Lego elements.
Yeah, right? Is this like the inner Kevin circle where
No.
You got to back up with your hand.
Guys, this is a setup. I'm telling
We
you.
received no care packages from Kevin.
There's nothing going on. There's no shady business. Promise.
All right, because you like to dance around stuff there, Kevin, and
that's
all
called.
your friends are chatting it up, saying that it's all a good thing.
Hey, you say dancing around. I say ensuring people have all the facts before they ask questions. Maybe I'm watching too much political videos on YouTube these days. That might be it.
Interesting. Can't find the module I built last week.
You can't. Oh, I thought you said I can't find the modular I built last. That's a pretty significant thing to lose, Reed.
Well, that's possible.
Oh, here's a random question for everyone. Who's excited about the new modular?
I am.
Not as excited as I was about the diner last year.
I'll probably buy it, but I'm not excited too much because I have all the modulars, of course, but it's like, it's not that exciting.
Now it's just a thing, right? Now you just got to give them your money.
Yeah.
I was waiting outside day one for the diner. I'll wait on the garage.
Day one, nice.
I don't think I've bought any of the modulars day one. I did buy Voltron day one, though. Now, granted, I could have bought it at San Diego Comic-Con, but I didn't want to carry around the Voltron set, because if you've ever been to San Diego Comic-Con, you realize how stupid that is. But I did buy it official day release one.
What's Comic-Con? Oh, sorry.
What's Comic-Con?
You know those hard-to-find Lego product that they put out where they like to spam the secondary market?
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, it used to be like when I actually helped out at the booth, which is about 10 years ago. It wasn't that hard to get them, but now it's basically, it's just easier to buy them on eBay. Just don't bother with the rest of it. Although they did change it this year because now you can do like a pre-raffle online thing. So you could literally just go and pick it up. It was, I didn't win any, but some of my friends did.
Interesting. Very interesting. Such a convoluted system, I think.
Oh, believe me, Comic-Con has become ridiculously crazy. I know people like are dying to go there, and I know they're jealous because I've been going like for 28 years. But I did live in San Diego for most of my life, so you know, and I did work at the booth for about 5 or 6 years.
So, Reed, you were aware, right? You've been told that Bud Chop and Nick and Blaze are all carpooling to Philly, right?
I think I've heard some crazy rumors like that. Yeah, I think I have.
So, like, if you don't go, then that's just awkward.
Well, that might probably be what happens.
I mean, at this point, you can get one of those like old-fashioned motorcycle sidecars and just hook that baby onto the car. And
well, if I sell some Lego before then, and I can talk my mom into letting me not worry about having an extra week off of work and not getting paid, you know, I can maybe work that. We'll see.
Just say, Mom, I'm grown. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, but I'm living in her house. So
well, and
in the storage, I can't live in the storage because it's full of Lego. So
yeah, we'll just get one of those old school Volkswagen, vans, and then we'll all hop on down.
You can probably all fit in mine, but you guys are gonna be swinging on top of the castle, I guess, on the drive out. You know?
I feel like I'm more excited for the three of you guys carpooling than you guys are.
Just imagine the
I know.
How old school does the van need to be?
The oldest of schools.
Yeah.
Well, because I have an '87 Volkswagen van again.
Uh-oh.
And my father-in-law owns about like 6 or 7 or 10 of them, so various ages. I'm actually going to a big Volkswagen show in 3 weeks.
So
next time I live stream, it'll be from there. No.
What I'm hearing is there's a potential for Ken and Reed to drive to Philly together in their old school van.
I can provide the hippie van.
Nice.
Okay. Well, all right. You guys have your homework.
It'll be like that. What's that movie where they're on like different vehicles and trying to get to a certain point?
Wacky races?
I don't remember what it was.
Cannonball Run.
Oh, Cannonball Run, yeah.
I want to picture Wacky races.
Since I can't really use the Google right now, when is Philly?
Oh.
End of April?
I was not prepared.
April, yeah.
April? Okay.
I still haven't been to that show.
You should go. You should give it a shot.
Well, the problem was every year before next year, they've been the same weekend as BrickCan.
Really?
And so, yeah. So I've been going to BrickCan because it's relatively closer.
See what Marianne. So what you're saying is Marianne needs to like pick Ken up and then pick me up and then we'll have two vehicles.
I'm actually relatively closer to you, Reed, because from here it's only about 8 hours to Denver.
So from what I'm hearing, Ken and Marianne and Reed are all driving together to Philly.
Right. I don't. No. I didn't agree to this.
In the hippie bus.
In the bus. Got it.
Actually, Marianne, I am no longer in Colorado, so
where are you?
I'm in Wisconsin. I'm at my mom's house in Wisconsin.
Oh, so you're fine.
I moved. Yeah, I moved. Ken's close because he's in Denver. That's why I said you can pick him up, and then pick me up.
Except I'm planning on going to BrickCan, which is again the next weekend after that. So.
Well, then that just means twice the fun.
Then
Go
twice
to one
the
show
headaches.
one day and the next show the next day. Go to one on Saturday and one on Sunday.
Right, and it's in 2 different countries. I mean, come on.
Yeah, 2 different countries on other sides of the Pacific and the Atlantic kind of thing.
And this
Take the red eye. You're fine.
Where is BrickCan?
BrickCan is in Vancouver, Canada, and it's awesome.
Okay.
By the way, I highly recommend it to anybody. Although it is a very tiny show, just because we are in a casino, which again is a plus for some people.
Yeah.
I don't really care about that part, but it is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's basically, if you've ever been to BrickCon, it's like BrickCon Light because it's basically the same people go to both shows.
I've been to the Lego store there too. I feel like I need to start doing like selfies in front of all these Lego stores or something I go to.
You should be doing
a lot of Lego stores, but I don't really care about taking pictures about it.
Yeah,
that's right. I can't build. I'm waiting on my order from Lego. Didn't get my 1,000 pieces of 1x2 black plates yet.
That's a problem.
That's why my building is on hold. I forgot about that. That's why I was working on that castle, I think, last week or whatever, the little one. So Marianne, are you building anything, or you said you're sorting or counting?
No, right now, I'm actually doing something boring. I'm actually doing my tax organization right now.
Well, this is a family stream.
I'm just basically while talking, I'm looking at lots of Excel spreadsheets. It's lots of fun.
Yeah, that's not appropriate.
I have to do that soon too, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, see, but the nice thing is once I get it done, I'm pretty much done for tax season already, which is nice. So
yeah. I have to do that for the very first time in my life.
Well, see, it gets really complicated when you own your own business because, like me, I'm like fastidious with receipts, meaning I have hundreds and hundreds of receipts, and so I have to track all of that down, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I have all of my receipts. None of mine are entered into my accounting software.
Yes, that's the problem. It takes a while. Very complicated.
Yeah, that's why I stopped running my own business. I couldn't keep up with it all.
I can understand.
Well, I did it. I did my phone taxes completely by myself for a few years, and then it got a little bit too complicated. So I finally did hire a tax person because it's not just filling out like the easy one form of
No.
an employee. As a regular employee, it's like 20 million forms. It feels like.
Yes. Yeah, I have a tax person that does mine, and I have no interest in doing all of that work.
Well, I make it easy for them because I actually add it all up for them, and then all they have to do is input it for me, because otherwise it would take them a week, and I don't want to pay them that much money.
I'm just going to send them my QuickBooks file, and then we're all done.
I probably should have done it QuickBooks. I'd still do it old school on an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Don't you hate it when you know you have the parts out here and you just can't see them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I built that thing.
Yeah, so actually, Kevin had showed one of his mocks he built for the window of the store. I think it was one of the Forever Sorting. So this is one of the mocks I built for the window at the Park Meadows store. My money tree.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
And there's one of my sig figs, because I did take a picture with a biker scout helmet one time in my actual Lego apron, so I'm sure my sig fig kind of looked like that.
That's one of the figures I still would like to have, is the official employee minifigure.
Oh, one of those, huh?
Yes, because
Look
even
at one of those, are you?
We know a guy that
they didn't exist yet.
I know a guy.
You know a guy who actually did it before they did it,
I know.
Well, the only thing is I don't want to pay an arm and a leg for that. I'm one of those people that I like them, but I'm not going to pay my life savings just for.
I only charge one limb. I don't charge for both limbs.
Oh, okay, that's generous.
Yeah, you gotta still be able to build with at least one of the limbs.
Exactly. All right. Well, not to call it short, but bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs and see what the family's doing. But let me know, Reed, if you want to do, like, if maybe next Friday, if you want to try to shoot for another earlier pre-show thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, Merry Christmas, Kevin.
Yeah, you guys.
Merry Christmas. I'll let you know if we end up doing anything that day. I don't know. I haven't heard back from the hospital, so it might be something we might just wait for a future year when this stream is a little bit more established, maybe perhaps.
Okay. Haven't we been doing this for a year?
About 6 months or so, maybe.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
33 episodes.
All right.
We hit 50. We know we've done a year. So.
Okay. All right. That's when you're established. All right. Cool. Yeah, you guys. It was good seeing you all. Have a nice Christmas and all that good stuff. And everybody in the chat, thanks for coming. I'm gonna go upstairs and see what the family's doing.
Okay. Later, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
See you, Kevin.
Bye. So, Richard, you're counting those? Is that from a set or what?
It's a kit. Oh, well, this is the BMR Caboose kit that they did at the NMRA show this year. So you had to be in attendance at the NMRA show to be able to get this. And two of my lung members were there, and I ordered parts for them. So I am finally putting their kits together.
So what's that little minifig down near the bottom of your screen? Near that bag of 1x2 black plates.
This dude?
Yeah.
It's just a minifigure in a package that I'm playing around with. Yeah, it's an EJ fig. It is definitely an EJ fig.
Yeah.
Nice.
And for those who don't know, EJ is EJ Bocan. He's one of the vendors from Abby Dabbles, and he basically looks like that figure.
It looks pretty much exactly like that figure.
Yes.
I was saying he looks like he's got his Hoosier drink there, except he's got the diet version right there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the heck is Hoosier and those guys tonight? Hoosier, Butt Chop, all those guys. Where are those guys at? I thought Hoosier was on earlier. Did we not? Did he not? He lose his invite or something? Or Erica? Maybe Erica told him he had to maybe do more streets tonight. Hello, Liz Ann.
Is my video and sound working okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
I'm on cell phone based internet. So
Oh gosh.
Really?
well, I'm in a rural area and we don't have any hardwired internet options. So I'm on a hotspot.
Really, they don't have. How close is the closest poles with like Comcast or anything or Charter or anything? Anything?
No,
Can
nothing.
they even do like satellite internet?
I could get satellite internet, but it's slower than the cell phone internet.
Okay.
The only option I have is for a cell phone based internet from another company, not like from AT&T or Verizon. I'm using AT&T right now, and it works reasonably well. There's another company that'll do it too, but it's not very fast.
So no DSL, no nothing, no phone, anything crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think what's wild is North Dakota or South Dakota, one of those states, when I was back doing cable probably 12 years ago or so, said, yep, we're going to be the first state that does maybe fiber or whatever internet across the whole state. I mean, and they're rural there too, which I thought was kind of fun. Yeah. So, I mean, that should be. I'm surprised you guys don't have it down there. How close is the next biggest city that even has internet or anything?
I think the town of Mayflower has it, and it's about a 10-minute drive down a freeway. Like, I don't even have city water where I am. I'm on a well and septic system.
Yeah, but you guys have power though, right?
Yeah. Yes, we have electricity.
Because usually they run that stuff on those power poles. So I'm surprised they just haven't tried to run some of that stuff out there, you know?
I think that you can get DSL, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried, but because this works reasonably well. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, maybe in the future. I mean, I know I've heard people where if they've wanted stuff like that, occasionally they've had to pay. But I mean, it might be something where if it was something coming, if they were coming down a road or something nearby or something, might not be too bad. That's kind of wild, but that's okay. Yeah. Well, I guess with the forever house, you might have to make sacrifices. I guess
Yes.
That's pretty common in rural areas. I mean, even in Colorado, like my friends are trying to buy a property in mountains, and there's nothing. Then they're blocked by the mountains, so they don't even have cell service. They have zero options. They looked at a satellite uplink and they can't even they even own half the hillside, and they tried to go all the way up to the top of the hillside and still can't get a clear enough signal to hit any towers or anything.
I believe it if they're in the mountains.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, if you're far enough out that there's not enough demand for them to bring the service in on the poles. There's not enough neighbors there to warrant that cost. So unless someone wanted to upfront the cost for their own sake, and then the other neighbors can benefit from that, or they can do something where they split the cost.
They must be really in the mountains, because I mean, even up in Boulder, up the side of the mountains there, most of those guys have something, so they must be really out there.
No, I mean, it's funny because they're just past the Lockheed Martin facility. You'd think there would be all kinds of service out there for them.
Really?
Just over the other side of the hill, and the hills block the signal. So.
Huh. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the areas in the mountainous area around Boulder and those areas, they have service up there. Because that's why when I go up there working on my project, I'm like, I don't like this pole, because if I fall, I've got like a 40-foot drop the other way. I was like, nah, I'll pass on that. That's
right.
I like my life more than I like my job. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those properties are the same way. You know, you got power, but you're on well water and on septic and all that. And like, I think you can get a landline, but the phone lines are so ancient that you can't run DSL on them.
Yeah, well, there's a couple problems with DSL up in the mountains, and that is the copper up here is 40 to 60 years old, depending on where you stand.
Yeah, exactly.
I live in a small town of Victor, and our DSL service, if you try to get it, they give you, it's like 1.5 down and 0.5 up in megabits. They
That's
don't
terrible.
see it because you're at 16,000 feet from the nearest CO. So even if it does work, it works rather poorly. So I understand the whole, you have to be on a cellular type system, because my system is a line of sight microwave, which is broadcasted out of Canyon City, which is something like 40 miles away from my house. And I'm up in the mountains. So I get the whole use cellular. So
yeah, they tried the line of sight, but like I said, they just couldn't get, they couldn't hit the other tower.
yeah, no, there's a lot of people in my area that I'm lucky I have it, but there are people that are literally just a mile from where I'm at and they can't get it.
Huh.
So, which is fine. It's more bandwidth for me, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
Hey, Reed.
Wait until they start. Yeah.
How about this?
Wow, I like that. There's some allies there. I like that.
Nice.
I like
Where'd you
those
get
ghillie
those?
suits.
Yeah, where'd you get those mammoths? Did you just buy them on Bricklink or what?
Yeah, sort of. I spent a great deal of time waiting for them to get very cheap.
Yes.
So
those sets still are on sale. So hopefully with the new sets, maybe they'll start marking those dang things down. Target still got them twice, so.
I got lucky. Mine were $3.75. Bricklink, they're typically around $8 to $9.
Well, once those sets start going on sale, I mean, hopefully they'll drop a little bit, but I mean, might be a while.
I think it'll be a while.
Because I mean, especially if they're releasing, especially if they, keep doing stuff in Arctic and everything else. So
we'll see.
Maybe they just need an Arctic, animal pack. I wish they're starting to do those little, the food packs and stuff. It'd be cool if they do a couple animal packs or something,
Yeah, but they're
Maybe
so expensive. That's the problem.
Huh?
Animals are always like that. Mastodon, I'm sure, is an expensive. Just internally in Lego is expensive because it's got multiple parts. It's huge.
It can't be that expensive.
But I mean, but they do the people packs. Why don't you do an animal pack? I mean, it still might be expensive, but if you're looking for like doing animals and stuff like that,
I mean, I'd be totally happy with it. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes Lego just, we're gonna harp on it a few times. Just think outside the box. They got too many people there at Fantasyland that still can't think outside the box. They're stuck in that fantasy park and they're just kind of crazy. I don't know.
Well, what I don't get is because, Playmobil, which, is their competitor, does do animal packs. And if they were Lego animal packs, I would totally buy them. I kind of love my animals.
I mean, the thing is, though, they could still be, because obviously the minifig pack is $40. I mean, you could do maybe a $50 or $60 animal pack and have a couple different ones where you maybe have one big animal and stuff like that, and they might sell. And they think sometimes they want to sell the big sets, but the big sets, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if some of those animals maybe start showing up in lug bulk and in other areas. Because they produce them for the sets, but the sets just can't sell. I mean, who knows? You just never know.
All they need to do is do that Chinese company, get their plant and start producing in mass. Because it's ridiculous what the prices are for some of this stuff. It's just plastic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a thing on TV recently. My mom actually had me watch it about. They were talking. Lego was talking about they're trying to use that new material to try and make the bricks, but I mean, they're struggling with the ones other than the plants, which are already a soft brick, per se, So it's interesting. I guess we'll see how they do it. But I always laugh because I mean, it's one of those things where if we could move our vehicles from the petroleum, we'd have enough for forever for all the other stuff we use. But everybody harps on Lego, but your cups are plastic, your straws are plastic, gloves are using some kind of petroleum. I mean, everything we do is based on that stuff. Lego's the one that gets thrown under the bus. It's like, okay, fine. Lego will figure it out, fix it, and then everybody else will be the ones going, oh, we should have thought of doing that sooner too. What were we thinking? Oh,
well, it's not Legos that I see floating around in the ocean when I see all those news pieces. You see lots of bottles floating around and showing up on the beaches. So
a lot more people buy bottled water than Legos.
Yeah.
Bottled water, bottled anything is a problem to begin with. So
speaking of waste of plastic, I went to Walmart the other day, and I don't like shopping at Walmart, but I went to Walmart the other day here in Florida, and I bought a little tiny bottle of lotion and a little tiny bottle of something else. I was able to carry them both in one hand. Went to self-checkout, I checked out, I had the receipt in my hand, I had the 2 items in my hand, and I went to walk out the store, and the girl was like, oh no, sir, you have to have a plastic bag. They make you have a plastic bag.
What?
Like the lady helping the self-checkout made me take a plastic bag for my 2 items in my receipt.
That's ridiculous. Every Walmart I've been to, I've walked out without getting bags. I try to not bag things.
This was a little rural place, just on the outside of Tallahassee, and they made me take a plastic bag. Like, and it was like midnight or 1 in the morning. I'm like, really? Like, who's gonna stop me? Like, you're the only one here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
ridiculous.
Well, it's not like you're taking big ticket items out or anything either. No.
Right.
And if you're walking,
I don't. If I'm carrying small stuff, I mean, even today, somebody, I was doing something, she's like, "You want a bag?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm good." I mean, are you kidding me? Or the one grocery store I shop at, they'll go paper or plastic. I'm like, I don't care, whichever you want. I mean, I need to start doing more of the using the reusable ones, like these guys, like the yellow ones and stuff. But the problem is I keep using them for all my Lego stuff, and so I never have them to shop for food.
Well, that's our perpetual problem is we use everything for Lego: boxes, containers, Ziploc bags.
Yes.
Yep.
We use a lot of plastic for our plastic parts.
Yes, we do. How many of us end up having? Oh, what does that read? Sorry.
It's one of my igloos I've been rebuilding. The igloo, I had a smaller one. I rebuilt them and then sunk them into the Mills plates. So it's dropping into place. The other one's got my sig fig in there, and it's got the bed and a TV and a jetpack,
Nice.
Well, I've been rebuilding a little bit. Rebuilt one of the houses using a little bit more texture this time. Didn't go with as much of a peaked roof, and then I added some translucent kind of in there near the fireplace to give it a little bit of color in there. So a little bit of building here and there, trying to add some new stuff. We need to get new lighting. That's the key. The new programmable LEDs. So.
I've been doing some research on lighting, and I've found some very interesting things that I'm going to play around with. There are these things called pixel LEDs, and people use them for those really cool Christmas lights that you see that are all programmed to music and has all sorts of different things. People use it for that, but they make them on a smaller scale, and they look like they would fit pretty well in Lego.
Yeah, that's what I have in my house, and that's what I'm planning on using in my some of my future builds.
Well, I found these cool string lights at a craft store the other day that I want to play around with.
Well, I did find more of the spool, like what I've already been using, that each one is programmable, and so I'm gonna Probably pick up some of those and play with.
That's the exact same type of stuff that I've been looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spools I bought, I think, were like $10 $20 a piece for the spool. And same thing.
Yeah.
It's fully programmable RGB LED.
Yep.
So you
And then
can
I
either
can
use
use
an Arduino controller, or they actually make these new controllers that are really, really easy to program that I'm looking at buying.
Different than the Arduino, or what?
Yeah, it's different than the Arduino. It has it comes with its own software, and it's kind of more plug and play. A little more click and drag style design.
Yeah, let me know if you get one of those. I'd be interested to know. And then I can take my old ones and put them on my vehicle, make my vehicle look like a semi truck.
There you go.
Put them on my mom's house, one of the two.
Yeah, the problem I had with the Arduino project was that it has a limit of about 500 to 700 LEDs per Arduino, and which, that sounds like a lot, but I was trying to do my whole edge of my house under the eaves, and it was 70 feet worth, and it worked out to quite a bit more than that. I think it was like 15 or 100 or 2,000 LEDs, and I kept locking up the Arduinos, and I couldn't figure out why. So it turns out you have to have multiple Arduino Unos controlled by Arduino Mega or whatever, and it started to escalate into this giant project that I kind of got out of control. So I shelved it for a little while, and I found this new module that is, like I said, it's more plug and play. It's able to handle multiple strings. It's able to handle slaved units and everything, and it's all just a lot simpler. It's more expensive, of course, but it's a lot simpler to use.
Well, yeah, send me the link on that one when you get a chance.
Okay.
I'd like to take it too, because the Arduino, I think, is the one I was looking at, and basically thinking because I run 2 or 3 power packs right now anyway, so it would be pretty much the same thing as I'm doing now, is just multiple packs for the castle, and just
And since you're not gonna, I don't know. If you're not fully synchronizing the whole system, you can probably do multiple Arduinos fine. But I was trying to get the entire house, for Christmas. I was trying to get the entire house in sync, and so it's, it made it a little harder.
It would be nice to have everything in sync. That probably would make more sense. That way, the keep is synced with the walls, which the castle. To really make it dance, sing, and take out the trash. That'd probably be the thing to do.
Yeah.
And scare the bejesus out of everybody in the dark at Chicago. Yeah.
You always have the party going during the nighttime things.
Yeah, that's why. I just need to make sure I got my DJs over there, and that's Kevin's usually over there.
Yeah.
Over deciding. Yeah. That's the thing. It's always gonna be fun. Now this year though, because now I'm in Wisconsin, Whistler is kind of thinking of doing a castle collaborative, and so they did kind of ask me if I was interested in that. So it's possible that Hope Castle could be in the middle of another, like a major assault or something. We'll see. So that's why I was going to.
Excuse for Reed to get his castle out? Oh, I don't know.
Well, I'm actually, it's Christmas weekend. I forgot to ask at Thanksgiving. I'm going to see if my nephew and my brother-in-law are interested in maybe helping this year. See if my nephew wants to help set up the castle. Maybe free me up for a little bit more seminars or presentations. Do a little bit more, do more giving back to the show. That this will be year number 8. I'll be there in all consecutive. So 8 consecutive years at Brickworld. So pretty cool.
You're definitely getting there where you need some serious help setting that up.
Yeah. My nephew would probably enjoy it. I think he's 7 or 8, so he'd probably enjoy setting it up and setting the ice bears up. I just gotta see because my brother-in-law is kind of working from home. He has a app for Teslas, that basically is generating all his income, so it's one of those things where, but if I can guarantee Wi-Fi and, it's whatnot, I just get some all access passes for the both of them, and they can just come. So we'll see. Because I'd like to do more stuff. People keep joking that I'm not a coordinator yet, but only a matter of time. Now that I'm even closer, it could happen. I'll tell Mark and let him know and see because I could even, with my new job, I need to take a whole week off. So it's either take the Tuesday through like the following Monday so I can do the social afterwards, or do the Sunday or do the Monday through Friday and then just end up, I could even go down there that whole weekend before and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. So they do work early. I work 5 a.m. till 1 or 2 p.m. So it could be interesting if I had to if I had to leave on Sunday. It'd be like I'd have to leave 8 or 9ish, get back at 10 or 11, go to bed, get 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then go to work. So we'll see. Definitely plan on going. Registration opens in 10 days, so.
We will be there, planning on it. We're planning on going to Alaska, but then Ashley became coordinator for the auction. So
yeah, that'd be nice if I had help. I could maybe help out with something like that too, stuff like that. So we'll kind of play it by ear. Are you guys going to be using the RV, or are you going to be?
Yeah, we're going in the RV.
Wow, Ralph, is that a new fire truck? It's pretty cool. You're on the big screen.
Oh, I like it.
That's cool. I like that.
I do quite a bit of Lego with LEDs. In fact, I have a Christmas village set up, so I can't really show you that because it's over in a restaurant here in town. But I do a number of fire trucks, as well as one sec. And then police cars.
That's nice.
Cool. I like it.
Are you using anybody's kits, or are you doing those yourself?
I started with kits from, I think it was Brick Stuff. And then I realized that all I need to do is find the Chinese outfit where I can get the same LEDs. And since then, I just buy the parts.
Makes sense.
I can get 50 what are called grain of rice size LEDs for less than $5. So
the only problem gets to be soldering those that are that small, but if you can get 50 of them and you screw up 5 while you're trying to get it in there, it's no really big deal.
Well, I get mine pre-wired, so you can usually get either 10 centimeter or 8 centimeter hair thin wires already attached.
Wow.
So the only thing I ever have to do is just kind of file them down a little bit so they fit. Like those are actually underneath the single studs.
Sure.
So I just file them down to fit in the gap in the stud itself.
That's nice.
Those are for the police cars. There's no circuitry. They're just individual flashing LEDs. For the fire truck, I have a programmed chip in there. And I didn't use Arduino. I actually used Raspberry Pi to do the programming. But essentially, it's a Python script running on a little chip.
That's cool.
That's cool. Now the lights up there at the in the cab there, are those lights that do they have to go down through the bricks too? Are there holes in the bricks at all?
Wire so thin. I mean, they're literally the thickness of your hair. A piece of hair, so they fit right in between there.
Right in the cracks, huh?
Yeah. So if you look, let me see if I can get this in front. Maybe, but you see a little 2 wires back behind that.
Yeah.
So very thin, and the police cars run off of a coin cell battery, and that thing will run about 20 hours. So. Which works out real well for taking to shows and displays because I can just, put them anywhere and flip the switch and they'll run forever practically.
That's cool.
That's good.
I'm in a lug with, arc lug, my lug, with Rob Hendricks, who runs Life Lights. So I get to play with all of his lights and that sort of stuff. But he doesn't do wires that small because he wants to sell it and not everybody is going to deal with wires that small, and they're yet very fragile, as I'm sure that you've found.
They do, but if you get plenty of lead length on them, get them wired in between the bricks before you start cutting anything, and it usually works. So every once in a while, I have a brick that I'll put a couple bricks together, and the next thing you know, it works like scissors. I don't have a wire anymore.
His is all plug and play, so his is all socketed, no soldering at all, which works really well. I actually have downstairs, but I have the Ecto 1 that I lit up with some of his lights that at the time were prototyping. They're now not anymore, but it's just it's very thin, basically ribbon cable that he runs the lights off of.
Yeah, this is the rat's nest in the trunk of the police car.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't shorten any of those wires because I was not sure if I was going to recycle the lighting and put it somewhere else when I got done. Typically, I'll trim the wires as tight as I can so that I don't have any excess. But I've gone back to police cars because after doing two, I don't leave them.
Yeah.
Can't see it because I'd have to move my camera, but I've got one end of my city lit up as well. So all of the working maintenance cars, the buildings, I got lights there as well.
That's cool.
It's always good to have, lights in there, especially small ones like that. I haven't done that yet. When I get enough room to build a city, I'll have to think about that.
Buy an RV, and then you can get yourself, a large building.
Hope you don't mind. I'm gonna do some eating here. I'm gonna eat some caramel cheese corn overload from Porky Badger. So it's cheese corn and caramel corn all wrapped in one. Pretty good. Even the cheese corn is pretty good, but I'd hate to do it on stream. But I could probably eat this whole bag right here. This nice, pound bag of cheese corn. Too addicting.
Well, my wife cooked some cookies today, or baked some cookies today, and she didn't bake the whole thing on purpose because I don't think they're going to last the night.
Yeah, but aren't they in the house and you're in the garage? So how does that work?
They are in the house. So that means I'm not eating them now, which is good. I still don't think they'll last the night.
So how much space is there above that garage, above the garage? How much square footage is there?
I don't know what the actual square footage is, but I'd say the room itself is probably 25 or 30 feet long by about 20 feet wide.
That's like double my storage. That's perfect. That'd be perfect. Handle
it might be a little bit bigger than that, but
I could probably find a room for a bed in there too, in the midst of the Lego collection.
Yeah. The one negative, you can't really see it in this angle, so I'll kind of move the camera up. Is that it's a vaulted ceiling, which isn't necessarily a negative, except right here along the wall where I'm going to put all of my storage, that's not head height.
Right.
So it's comes up to about my chest, so it's not.
Well, I guess what you could do is build your city along the edges and your shelves kind of in the center or something, or something. Build something like that,
So
do something like.
Currently, I have. I'm trying not to hold the camera so it's not totally jerky. So currently, I have a shelf up here, and I have spots for 2 more of those shelves, and then down this wall that my computer is on. Is where all of my part storage is going to go. And I've already got some bins for that. So we'll see. how that goes. And then currently, all of those bins over there are most of my parts.
That's probably about half of what I have to sort of just parts.
Well, I have
Pretty-
I have 3 or 4 more bins that are downstairs that I haven't brought up yet.
Well, I gave away a lot of my bins, so I was dumping bins of pieces into 17 or 27 gallon tubs before the move, so it was pretty crazy. They're stacked in storage, so it's insane.
When we were moving in here, I had movers come and move my storage unit because I just didn't want to deal with it. And they dumped, so they had them stacked, and they dumped a stack of my totes filled with loose Lego bricks on the ground in the rain off the truck. Yeah, that was fun. But hey, props to them. They spent an hour down there in the rain on our gravel driveway picking up bricks and parts out of the ground.
Hey, it sounds like you need to listen to Forever Sorting number 16, where they talk about the palette of the R2D2 build. You got to listen to that. That's pretty good.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I finally caught up. I'm actually in episode 14, the Lost episode.
There's a Lost episode?
Then, well, they skipped it. They went to like Q&A number 1 and Q&A number 2, and I'm like, where the heck is 14? I'm like, come on, guys. 13 was a cliffhanger. Kevin's talking about this horrendous store in Arizona where they just let everybody go. And he's having to go in, and people won't let him find his house and stuff. It's a great. So 13's great, and then it's like they do all these other things. I'm like, I want to hear everything going on. They bring me in for 14, and then 15 isn't really labeled. 15's just it'll be in the sequence, but it's not really labeled 15. I think Kevin said he did something in the special graphics that says 15. And then 16 has Arizona Dan, the guy, one of the people that Kevin met at the Arizona store. So it's pretty good. It's the life of Kevin Hinkle, and I mean they're episode 16 with a bunch of little small ones, and he is now just getting into Arizona, which means that's like year maybe 2 or 3 of his 12-year career. So it's going to be a long series. So. Pretty crazy, but I mean it's good entertainment. I mean the only reason I was in 14 was because that was where I really kind of helped him pack and all that stuff. And it's funny because you start talking to him about something and then you say something, he's like, oh, I forgot about that. You're like, yep, well, I remembered it, so and that's why he's got so many different jumps arounds and then extra special segments, because he's like, you know what, I forgot to talk about these resellers in Colorado, or forgot to talk about, this trip and when I was in school in Colorado and stuff like that. So it's an interesting series. Kevin started saying, well, Reed went from this, like, nope. And Bricks was like, nope, hold on. Don't say too much. You never know. He might be the next victim, in the series of, Forever Sorting. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I can handle that.
Well, what's funny is I don't remember my whole career anymore either, though, because I literally forget models I've built when I worked at Legoland until, like, somebody posts a picture or, like, something like that, and I'll see something. I'm like, oh, yeah, I built those, like, 12 years ago or something.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely, if it's something that he ends up trying to do that with some of the Lego people, because obviously myself, I have 8. Arizona Dan has 8. Well, actually, I have 7. Arizona Dan had, I think, almost 8, and then he does like people like Adam. He had 7 or 8. I mean, he's got plenty of material from people who, But the funny thing is it keeps going back to the point where Lego brand retail management just doesn't want to promote ASMs. I mean, this Arizona Dan's another person. It's like, come on, I mean, it's one of those things where they cannot come back at any of us and say, you guys are giving us a bad point of view, a bad picture. I'm like, no, we're telling it the way it's supposed to be. You guys just can't promote people for some reason. That people promise you have is busted. So it's like, yeah, it's, it's one of those things where, yeah, I heard 16 and I'm like, oh my God, it's like LBR hell all over again. It's like going back in time.
Yeah.
But it's not just Lego that does that. I will say I worked at a small company doing IT work, and I tried to get promoted, and it was at the point I had been at the company for 7 years. I had gotten a degree in what the work that the other department did. I started in break fix, and then the other department does servers, and I got a degree in server management, and they still wouldn't move me. And it finally got to the point where I was like, where I told them, I sat down with my manager, the manager of the other department, and the owner of the company, and I said, I'm actively looking for other work if you do not move me. So, and I wasn't even looking for more money. It was just, I was just wanting to change the work that I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because, I mean, that's pretty much like any of us. What makes us laugh about LBR is then they'll hire somebody from the outside. They don't have a clue. They do some stupid stuff. They don't even make it a year and they're gone. You're like, oh, wow, that was a beautiful choice. But then again, like in my instance, what I can laugh about, and I'm sure, I mean, if the people who were, in those positions above me will probably get a good chuckle out of this. And, maybe I'll see some in the comments, but the DM, basically, like I told, like I commented on that stream, is if the district manager doesn't like you, tuck your head between your legs and kiss your blank goodbye, because basically that's it. If your DM doesn't like you, you're done. So my DM didn't like me. I don't think any of them really. Well, I think some of the early ones did. The later ones didn't for whatever reason. The last one didn't. So the last one was one of the ones that helped get me gone. She's gone. So she got rid of me. Well, she got her dismissal shortly after, which is kind of like, oh, there's karma for you. And then the manager that was in my store that kind of helped initiate that, she's not there. Now, rumor has it she said it was her decision, but, I mean, it's kind of things where, yeah, probably pushed out to some extent, but, there you go. I mean, it's probably she moved halfway across the country for that. So it's like, sometimes I think they try to move people to places more than they should. Maybe try somebody out. And Kevin tells it perfectly. I mean, try somebody out. I mean, you can try me out and say, nah, it's not going to work. Fine, then let me go. I mean, then say, you know what, you're not going to work. We really don't want you to move you back down. Can we just let you go? I'll be like, sure, that's fine. I mean, the problem is they just don't want to take those chances. They don't want to try something, and that's the problem. Is if you don't try, you can't succeed and you can't fail. You won't know if it's good or not, and that's why I laugh. When Lego wants to complain about dropping sales, I go, well, you keep getting rid of all the people that know Lego backwards and forwards, eat, sleep, drink, party Lego. Well, then you have nothing to complain about, because the people who really know your stuff the best are now on the outside, and they can help a little bit, but we're not living and breathing it anymore like we used to, so we don't have a vested interest to help sell the product. I'll talk to people in the aisle once in a while. I did it a couple weeks ago, like a week ago, and lady's like, wow, okay. I'm like, yeah, I mean, this might be good. I mean, I can do it. I mean, it's like, what age and, stuff like that. We can do it in our sleep. I probably do it in my sleep. Just don't wake me up. So.
I did the same thing. Actually, my first job at Lego was 20 years ago now. I worked as a retail merchandiser, so I would go to the different, like Toys R Us and Target and all that stuff and set up the things. The way I got my job was I met the guy doing it at like Toys R Us or Target, and I was just so enthusiastic. He was like, he actually asked me how old I was, because obviously I don't look my age, and even 20 years ago I didn't look my age even more so I looked about 12. And so I was like, I think 20 at the time or 21. And he was like, well, we're looking for temporary people to, do this. And normally I think they go like through several interviews, like multiple interviews. But because the guy was so impressed with me, I talked to him for about an hour, and then he had his boss call me, and about 15 minutes I got my job. And
Wow.
I would have done it longer than the 3 months, but then Lego, in its infinite wisdom of changing things up, decided to do it as an outsourcing thing. So Lego wasn't going to do it. And then, of course, within like a year or two, they went back to being internal because they realized that outsourcing that was not wise. But, of course, I didn't really want to work for this other company that they outsourced to. And I even got almost recorded by like Hasbro or Mattel or one of those companies because they saw how good I was, but I didn't want to work for them either. Because I wanted to work for Lego, as we all did.
Yeah, I met a Lego like salesperson or something probably 30 years ago. Something like that, 25, 30 years ago, doing the Polk, like where they do the census.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is well known. You might even know it when I say it. Marianne Zamansky. She was like a person in the Midwest, and she actually was maybe merchandising or
I don't
whatever.
think I knew her because I was like I said, it was such a brief job for me. I didn't get to know many people above.
But her name is big just in the fact that she did that. But then from there, because she was working in Toys R Us and stuff, a lot of people asked her about other toys. So she is now the owner of her own company where I think she does toy recommendations across the board, not just Lego, but everything. Right. She started her own company because everybody was always asking her so many questions about all the toys that she says, you know what? I should probably just be doing some kind of a consulting. So, but yeah, I met her years ago, and I'm like, I probably should have kind of maybe followed up with Lego more at that point. That was probably my first, red flag saying, this is where we really, the person pulling my strings really wants you is with Lego. This is why we lined it up, and then I just never followed through. So, but yeah, I mean, it's interesting, it's not something.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's not something, you really, it's the only thing I probably wish I maybe would have changed differently was maybe not gone full time. Maybe stayed as a part time and maybe worked longer at part time and then whatnot. I mean, I might not have had as an illustrious career, but you never know. So.
Well, what's funny was when I was doing the retail merchandising, we were actually promoting Legoland California because it was opening up the next year. So we were actively promoting it for that 3 or 4 months that I was doing it, because I think it opened in March. And at the time, of course, I had no idea that later in 2002, I would end up getting hired at Legoland Retail, no less, for about a year. And then I moved over to the model shop, which I think I was like the first person to do that too, because when I got into retail, they were like, oh, nobody moves from retail to the model shop. That's a boys club. Nobody's, and that was the thing too. I didn't realize at the time, but I was actually the first American woman to work there because there was one other woman before me, but she was from Denmark and came in the initial team that came to set up the model shop. And she left about a few months or so before I came in. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's nice to have on your, it's nice to have that history. That's always cool. So.
Yeah. I kind of broke a lot of glass ceilings when it came to Legoland.
Oh, Richard, are you muted or something?
Yeah. Oops. Do you now remember some of the models that you worked on?
Oh, I remember a lot of the models I worked on, but what I mean is I forget it's because there's things that are little tiny things. Like when we worked on Florida for the Kennedy Space Center, like I made like benches and little signs and little lighting systems and that kind of stuff. That's the little tiny minutia that you put into Miniland, but you don't remember that it's you can make it. And the only reason I remembered making it after the fact was when I went to Florida 6 years ago. I had a commission down in Orlando for McDonald's, of all things, for their worldwide convention. I made a 4-foot long version of a McDonald's building. And since I was down there and it happened to fall on my birthday, I spent an extra week because I'd never been to Florida, and I went to all the theme parks. I don't recommend doing that, by the way. 8 theme parks in 6 days is a little much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did it for my 35th birthday. But when I went to Legoland, Florida, because Legoland, California obviously no longer has the Florida section because that's where the Star Wars layout is. But when I went to Florida, I was like, oh yeah, because I was looking at the layout there and I saw some of the models. But yeah, I still have, even to this day, I have about, I have tons of models throughout at least 4 of the parks, because I have models in not only California and copied in Florida, because some of the, like one of my most famous is the Las Vegas sign. And I know that's in Florida and also in England now. Although if anyone has ever seen, there's horrible, they did this new layout of America in England, and it looks like some alien came to America, grabbed all these iconic landmarks and dumped them on an island. Because the sad thing is that ever since Merlin took over, Legoland's model design in some ways has gone down, especially Miniland. And it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. But so like I have stuff in like I said, in England, but I also know that I've got stuff in Denmark as well. That's some of it is the original Florida one was taken to Denmark. And then also one of my favorite models that I made, little models, is the little dog that's a pirate puppy. And you can even Google it if you type in Legoland pirate puppy. It's in Legoland, California. It's on the Splash Battle ride way in the back. But if you look at the one in Billund, it's actually on a barrel, and it's pretty prominently. I haven't been yet, but I've seen a ton of pictures, and it's really easy to find, and it's such a cute little model. And what's funny about it is it's actually what's called a doubled up model. So a doubled up model, you take every piece and you like double the dimensions by 2 or 4 or 8. That's how like the giant Yoda builds and the giant store opening builds are done. And so I did that one, but I did a couple things that were not normally done on double up models, because I like to think outside the box, like Reed was saying. And so I did some techniques on that particular model that I've never seen anyone else do really on doubled up models. So it looks less blocky, because the problem with doubled up models is the bigger you go, especially if you go like 4 or 8 times bigger, is that they start looking like a 8-bit model. Right. And they look pixelated. And so whenever I can, I try to fix the problems. Like with my McDonald's building, the building itself was doubled up, or it was like 4 times. So it was a 1-foot-long version into a 4-foot version. And I, instead of like the McDonald's logo itself and the sign, I just designed them upscaled so that they'd look much nicer than if I just pixelated the whole thing, because I didn't want it to look crappy.
Right.
Ralph, I like all those Crocs, man.
I gotta see what Ralph's close. I gotta zoom it up in. Oh yeah, that's a lot of Crocs. I just never got into the whole Chima thing, except for parts.
Ralph, how many Crocs are you up to now?
I think Ralph's muted.
And just so you know, Ralph, you mute yourself.
Sorry. I have to think. I haven't really counted them. I just sort of buy them when I find them when they're really cheap. So so that's the box that I'm filling right now. There's another box underneath there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more boxes that I know of. I figure I've got 250 or so, easily.
Wow.
But
that's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm not counting them. I get them as cheap as I can, and then they just get added to another box.
I think I still have 20 or 30 still in the Krager boxes for Dimensions still somewhere. I think I opened 10 or so, and I think I still have a bunch. Oh,
And
yeah.
A couple of boxes, 6, 7 boxes unopened of Ice Bears for Allies. And then,
Yeah, I got one right here. I got one box. I think I have maybe 3 or 4 of the boxes that are unopened.
Yeah, and then I got about 2 dozen that are no longer in their boxes. They're in yet another one of these tubs. So I got probably close to 50 Ice Bears, but not big on buying the Ice Bears. They're just to fill in the seams, as it were.
Well, if you see them cheap, let me know. I could probably use a few more, but I've got a lot of Sabertooth allies too. So Crocs, yeah. Sabertooth, really, that's pretty much it. Sabertooth, Crocs, and Ice Bears, obviously. So the Ice Bears need all capes this year, plus I need to make some tents. So found some of my cloth, and I'm missing some other cloth. So I got to figure it out, but I'll probably have to do some of that after the holidays, start coating cloth and making some tents and stuff. So
I'm not doing capes. I'm primarily doing as many. I mean, I don't have just all modern weapons. So, by example, all right, moving from the camera. So I've got more medieval-looking weaponry too.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the army is basically swords, spears, shields, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's relatively sometimes cheap to get too. Some of it, if you just go with some of the even the basic Lego stuff, the basic actual stuff, and some of it's cheap. So.
Well, I used to have, before I started building City, I had a very large pirate collection and a very, very large medieval collection. So I've got lots of weapons, but I'm kind of partial on some of these third-party shields and some of the more unique weapons because it really makes the army look a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't like consistency with the Crocs because when it comes to weapons, crocodiles should be armed with anything they have found or stolen from somebody else.
That makes sense. Reed, your Ice Bears were front and center at our layout in Iowa. Where was that? Yeah, Iowa.
Cool.
The NMRA show this year. No,
yeah.
Kansas City. That's where it was.
Yeah, Kansas City, yeah.
I've been to too many places this year. But yeah, your Ice Bears were front and center, and I had some people ask me about them. And I explained about your castle.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of things. Actually, they're all in Ziplocs now. After forgetting them at Milwaukee, they're not leaving them behind again. So I actually got rid of all those, all the bins I had before for all my minifigs. I think one of the guys in our group, Kevin Mansfield, took them all. So, but yeah, I gave away a lot of bins and some shelves, and yeah, I'll have to rebuild a lot of that stuff. I did keep all my metal ones. My van was so low, one of my tires on the trailer went to like 14 pounds or something. It was crazy, from 38 or something. Yeah, it was bad. So. Ralph said he lost power, so that's not good.
He lives out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, he's out in the mountains. I mean, a couple of the fires that they've had in the last year have come really close. I mean, that's kind of the only danger thing about living in a lot of those rural mountainous areas is, I mean, look at California and stuff. It's scary. It's just so much risk and stuff like that. You know, living in those areas, it's kind of scary. You know, to be up there. I mean, just think. You know, that's the industry we need to tap into. Richard, is building the fireproof Lego room, right? You know.
Oh yeah.
You know. That would be kind of
that would be kind of interesting. Marianne, I remembered the question I was going to ask you.
What?
That or you put. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, when you were building models for the model shop, did you have a set budget that you had to be under? Like, did you have to worry about parts cost like we do?
No. So my boss had to worry about that part.
Okay.
And we didn't really we didn't have to worry about parts cost. What we had to worry about was time cost. So the budget of like, you have 20 hours or, 100 hours or whatever to do this. On the bigger things, we wouldn't have as much of a budget cost. We just had to keep track of it. So we had like a form we had to fill out every day of what we were doing that day on and what we were working on. And see, one thing that people don't realize that we did every day is that we do what's called a park walk and also a Miniland walk in the morning. And I was generally the one who did the Miniland walk because I was kind of in charge of Miniland, taking care of it for most of the time I was there. So basically from I believe like 8:30 to about 9:30, or maybe even a little bit longer than that, we would walk through the whole of Miniland or all of the park and check if there were things that were broken or things that needed to be replaced or that kind of stuff. And so we do that, and then whatever our assignment for the day was, like if we were making a, like the 4-foot ladybug I did, or the, designing, like I built a Dryer's ice cream truck that went into Miniland that I think's still there in California. So whatever we would do, we would say we were working on that and how many hours we'd work. We didn't have to worry about the parts cost. In fact, people kind of freak out about what we did because we didn't have to sort our bricks either. Because we'd get our bricks from the, directly ordered, just like we get from, like, say, Bricklink. But when we were done with the project, and this kind of boggles some people's minds, we'd literally sweep all the table clear, and we'd never sort the parts. So what ended up, now we didn't throw them away, but what ends up happening is they go out into all the play bins in the park.
Wow.
And every once in a while, if you look in the play bins, you might find something that's cool because it just kind of escaped. Because usually we'd pull out the rarer pieces. Like, back in the day, we still had a pretty wide selection of Marisk because when they set the park up, they still had this huge collection of Marisk they'd made for only the parks, basically, because at the time they didn't have medium blue or, like Cinderella blue. So they used, like, I even have a few pieces of the Marisk that are pieces that Lego never produced officially for retail. Like I have the macaroni brick in Marisk blue. Just a few pieces, but we had it in the park for models. In fact, I believe I used those in my because me and 2 other builders built the Tropicana, and so the whole left-hand side of the Tropicana in California, which I believe is like a 6 or 7 foot long building, but it's actually, if you've ever been to the real Tropicana, it has like 5 or 6 facades on the whole building or whatever. So I had to build, on my section has 5 building facades, and one of them has several it's got parts of it are Marisk blue that didn't officially ever come out in those colors.
I have some of those parts that don't officially exist. I have a couple of those.
Yeah,
like one of those parts, but
yeah, that's the thing, is most of it we only had a few. Like I have a few here or there of like the trans clear jumpers, because again, that was a piece that we would use all the time to make the Miniland cars. And they don't obviously still have yet to make trans clear jumpers available to the public, and I wish they would, because it's an amazing piece.
Trans clear jumpers would be awesome.
But at the same time, you got to think about the fact, see, now they've changed over the years, because so back in the day, way before even my time in the model shop, they used to actually make like every current part, or like every basic current part, in like the 10 standard colors, which I believe, if I can do it off the top of my head, is tan, yellow, blue, red, white, dark gray, light gray, green, black, and brown. At the time, that was the 10 standard colors. And then they would also like the Marisk blue because it was so useful. and they really couldn't use it for anything else. They, for some reason, made them for the model shop, but they've got more and more, especially, after Merlin bought the parks, where basically they're just like, you get the same parts that the what we make. We're not making special parts anymore, like for you guys, except for a few small things. In fact, one of the parts I am so excited about, this is my the little rocket brickhead. Now, I'm not a huge fan of brickheads except for parts, but the thing that got me excited about Rocket is that if you look at, he's got the little tiny clip in reddish brown.
Yeah.
That piece, this is the first year it has ever been commercially available. I have one from about 10 years ago or something that I got at the Chicago Legoland Discovery Center as part of a little kit that they had, that they were of a squirrel. But, and then he knew that that's a part that they had to make for the model shops because of all the Miniland people. And they have the longer 1x2 clip that's been around for years in reddish brown. But the fact that they finally made this in reddish brown, because that's the one thing that, because I was actually still working at the park when they changed from old brown and old grays to new brown and new gray. And my only complaint, because, some people want to go back to the old colors. I don't really care about going back to the old colors, because once you put them together now, the old colors look really bad. Yeah. Except for, I do like the old brown because it was like a chocolate brown. But the old grays, I don't really care that much about that. The only complaint is that they still have yet to produce every piece they produced in the old things. And they're not, like this clip, it's not a piece that's rare or unique. It's a very vital piece. Yeah. And since my specialty, one of them, is mini land scale figures, it's very hard to make African American mini land figures when you don't have hands for them. So that made me very happy that they finally produced that. Because, we were getting, in fact, when they did the transition for a while there, they didn't even give us access to order the parts the way that we had been ordering the parts. And so we got kind of how we get the lug bulk, this huge, massive sheet. Yeah. That's just forever and it's a pain in the butt to actually order anything from there. Yep. Because, that's why Bricklink is thriving and is amazing, because it's so easy, Yeah.
Absolutely. This hobby, and I've told this to Daniel Jezik's mom.
Yes.
And I know that she gets it a lot.
She's
but
amazing.
Literally, this hobby, at the level that it is at, would not exist without that website.
I heartily stand by that, because nobody understands, unless you've been in the hobby as long as certain of us have been, what it was like before Bricklink. And I know Bricklink all the way back to when it was originally called Brick Bay.
Wow.
So that was, the very first. Well, and the reason he had to change it was eBay forced him to, unfortunately, because he wanted it Brick Bay, because what a lot of people don't know is all those original little scenes that they had on the Bricklink front page of the little vignettes, they were actually representations of Dan's life. And he lived in Hawaii, and so he wanted it Brick Bay because he liked the bay in Hawaii. And that's where the name came from. That's what his mom told me. And so, the sad thing was that they forced him to make it, but at the same time, Bricklink has thrived and is amazing, and I was a little worried when Dan's mom sold it to the current owner, but once I met the current owner, also again, Marvin is amazing, and he is really a AFOL at heart too, and so he understood why it's so vital. Yes. Because it really did change everything, because those of us that remember back in the day beforehand, if you wanted 10 horses, you had to buy a set 10 times to get that horse or whatever. And I've gotten more and more, especially as I've gotten older and I have so much Lego. I don't buy sets as much anymore because of Bricklink. Because I'm like, why do I need to buy the whole massive set? Like Reed was saying, I'm not going to buy the whole set just for the Mastodon because I don't need anything else in that set.
Right.
I have all the old Arctic sets from the first time they brought the Arctic sets out. So I only buy the new updated stuff. Like when they brought out the Jungle Cats, the same thing. I just bought the Jungle Cats and the kayak and I think the man-eating plant. I didn't buy anything else because, again, I have the jungle sets going back all the way to the Adventures jungle sets. The really old stuff. So I'm like, because I'm one of the few people, I mean, not that there's not a lot of us, but I'm one of the minority of lifelong fan where I literally never had a Dark Age.
Yeah.
And by not having a Dark Age, that means you have a massive collection. And granted, there are still some sets I wish I'd bought and I didn't, but not that many because I literally have been collecting for my whole life.
I understand. One of my lug members, he's the same way. He never had a Dark Age. Now, I won't even say me still, even after I've gotten out of Lego or gotten back into Lego, I wouldn't say that I've had some dim ages. I've definitely had those where I don't work on projects for a while or I just get burnt out, especially doing a ton of shows.
Oh, yeah.
That definitely happens. But
well, like just because, I mean, if anyone's following me, Model Building Secrets on Facebook or Instagram, I still haven't even posted my newest large build that I just finished in October because, frankly, I got so burnt out that I needed a break. Because I went from building a 5 foot long, 3 foot tall cathedral for a museum here in Salt Lake to building a 6 foot by 4 foot long and about a foot tall a museum for California Academy of Science, a replica of their building. And at the same time, which kind of threw me off and it's, just happened, is my father passed away in September while I was doing this massive project. So I kind of wasn't 100% focused on it, obviously. And so I ended up having to work longer in San Francisco itself. And so I actually almost had, it was almost traumatic experience with this model. And so I literally, for the last couple months, I kind of just didn't do too much. I did have a couple small commissions that I did that were weekend commissions for me, which one was for, I actually did Google Gravity Games trophies for them. And then I also did some trophies for the company LinkedIn, but they were relatively simple. So they didn't require much brain power.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes especially at the end of the year, almost every year, I end up taking about a couple weeks to sometimes a month, and this time 2 months because it's just too much, where I just don't do too much, which is why, like I said, I'm doing a super sort in my room right now, which is kind of half worked, half didn't work, of just reorganizing because I was like, I just don't want to think about creating right now.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. When I was in the RV for a year, I just didn't really have a whole lot of room for bricks and all of my stuff. So I did a lot of set building until I built the RV park. So
right.
That ended up being a lot bigger than I thought that it was going to be. It was 6 base plates by 4 base plates. The green base plate.
Right.
Which isn't terribly big, but when you're building 2 base plates at a time,
yeah.
That
like
could be a little bit.
That's what the California Academy of Science is. It's like, because it's, like I said, 6 by 4 feet. So if you do the math, that's about 5 base plates by 7 base plates. So
Yeah.
It's huge,
Yeah.
And I think that one ended up with 30,000 pieces, and the cathedral ended up with 40,000 pieces. So not small builds. I mean, now granted, it's not the biggest things I've built, because I had built larger things at Legoland with coworkers, like the MGM Casino and the Tropicana. And I think the biggest thing we worked on was the Freedom Tower in New York that about 10 of us worked on.
Yeah.
And I was one of the worker drones in that one where I just helped build. But that one was the tallest at the time Miniland scale building at 28 feet. It was huge. I think it got surpassed by the Burj Khalifa though when they designed it for the Dubai park. Because that one I'm not sure how tall it is, but I know it's like 35 or 40 feet or something ridiculous like that. It's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy. It's
Well,
interesting that the three
sorry.
of us that are still in this chat all build big.
Well, I do like to build micro scale and mini land scale too. In fact, that's why I don't build a lot of minifig scale, because once I went to mini land scale, the freedom of what you can do with the characters, the figures themselves, is so much, because like you can't do much with a minifigure. They can only do so many positions. But with the mini land figure, you can make them kneeling or laying down or crouching or, holding a child or whatever, all kinds of cool things.
I tend to usually build minifig scale because most of the stuff I build is town, city, or that sort of related build, especially for some of our lug stuff. I'll build some other things. I've done some mosaics. I like doing those.
I don't know if there's enough 1x2 clear plates to transition hope to mini land scale.
I think that would be a good idea.
No.
Oh my gosh.
That would be huge.
You think it's a long setup time now. Can you imagine what that would be like?
Oh. Well, that's the thing, because with my cathedral, so I actually have all the prototypes here at my house, and I don't think it's going to happen for Bricks LA, unfortunately, because it's only 2 weeks away and I've got things to take care of before I can do it. But I'm thinking about possibly bringing maybe just the front or maybe a truncated version of the cathedral, because like I said, the original cathedral has like 40,000 pieces and it would literally take up my whole car to travel with it. And since I'm also a vendor, that wouldn't be practical because, I need stuff to sell. But I really want to bring at least the front facade of the building, which is only about a foot wide, but it's, again, 3 feet tall and 3.5 feet. 3 feet tall and 2.5 feet wide. So it's still probably about 20,000 pieces by itself, because that was the one that had the most detail. And but I have to modularize it so it's easy to move and assemble on site. And that's the problem I haven't tackled yet. Because and it would probably end up actually having closer to 45 to 50,000 pieces if I did the whole thing, because modularizing it means I have to have more pieces to make it connect, and make it come apart in sectional and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's one challenge anybody building big has, is making so that it can be transported. You can build big all you want, but my biggest project I built, my biggest one-piece project, there you go. My biggest one-piece project I built was a roller coaster that I brought to Brickworld the year after Adam came out with his coaster kit. And I just couldn't figure out a way to make that modularized. So it came in one piece. And before I started it, I physically measured my car and I was like, okay, this is how tall I can go. This is how long I can go. This is how wide I can go. And this is how wide I can go so that I still have room for bags for when we were driving. The worst part was because it was so measured so well, specifically for the car, it came right up to the back of the front seats. This was in an SUV.
Right.
Which is fine. It was just my wife and I. And except she was napping and we stopped and she woke up and she wasn't thinking and threw a pillow in the back of the car. And I was like, no!
Well, that was the thing with my California Academy of Science, was that I built it here in my studio, and I live in a split level, so there's a glass window along the one wall, and so it's actually easy to get models out, but there is slightly of an incline on the side of the house to get up. But frankly, it wasn't that hard to do because my brother made a nice wooden frame for it, and this is glued, keep in mind, so it's a little bit easier to transport. But before I brought it to the museum, it was actually about 5 by 3 feet. Now my car, because it's a RAV4, does fit up to 6 feet, but you have to, give it a little bit of a cushion and everything. So 5 feet could fit. It did barely fit in my car, just like yours, you said.
Yep.
And again, on the side, just barely fit because of the wheels of the car itself. Obviously, have to take up some of the back space. But because I was traveling and building it partially on site, I also had to bring all the parts, and I had to bring all of the stuff. But because it's glued, I wasn't worried at all about it, because it's like a giant flat mattress almost of a size. It's just a Lego. And it wasn't that heavy, because the one thing that people always ask, which I'm like, are you kidding, is they ask, are large models solid or hollow? And I'm like, why would we build them solid if we don't have to?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if we actually built, especially like those massive builds at Legoland, solid, they'd be like 10 times heavier than they already are. Because people don't also realize how heavy models like that can be. Because like my cathedral, when it's all, it comes apart in 4 sections, so it's easier for the museum to move. But I think I estimated the weight for the total model about 100 to 120 pounds. And just the front facade is about 40 to 45 pounds. It is massively heavy. And so it's like, because it's just so part heavy. And it's hollow. Keep in mind, this is a hollow model. It's still heavy. Wow. And this one does not have, like some of the ones at Legoland have, what are called steel armatures. So they're like skeletons.
Steel on the inside, yeah.
And that makes it even more heavy, of course. So, of course, they're hollow.
Yeah. Reed, how much does Hope Castle weigh?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know, but it's in about 10 or 12 17-gallon tubs. I mean, well, the funny thing is, I told my dad I want to make custom boxes, so it takes up less space. But he's like, well, the wood boxes will weigh more. Well, that's true, but if I waste less space, then it'll fit into more compact vehicles. So
I think actually that would make more sense, Reed, with yours, because especially since you constantly take it apart and reassemble it, I would recommend doing wooden crate things for it.
You can leave it a lot more assembled.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's one of those things where, the tubs, just because they slope up, I lose a lot of space and stuff. Mm-hmm. And for me, eventually I'm going to want to, I might have to get a new vehicle. Well, if I get a new vehicle, vans, unless you get a really big one, they're getting smaller and smaller. So, it's just a matter of time. I just got to spend the time and design something. One of the AFOLs out in Colorado had some Gould boxes. It was 2 base plates long by a base plate wide by about a base plate high. And luckily, when I built most of my modules, they're the size of a base plate. Even the Clover, the only thing, the exception is the stem is probably the size of, as long as a gray base plate. So that's the one exception. Everything else is base plate or smaller in size, so they'd all just slide in there nice, and I could still alter stuff and still know they would still fit in the box. The Mills plates would be the ones that would take up more space as I texture them, unless I texture them in a way that I can pull the texture off and just have it labeled or something, or just drop in, kind of like where these drop in. Just have some tiled areas where the landscaping just kind of sits in there with one thing holding it in place. So we'll see. It's heavy, but is what it is. So
some of my lug members built boxes for the amusement park ride. So the roller coaster, that has its own box. The Ferris wheel has its own box, because those are terrible to transport on their own, especially the Ferris wheel. And so you can definitely do boxes and leave it more assembled. That would help with your setup time and tear down time.
Well, the wall modules, they all go pretty quick. I think what a lot of the setup time is really just the minifigs. It's just because the Mills plates, putting them together, obviously put them together. Now, if I'm on the ground, more time than I'm on a table. If I'm on a table, I don't probably have to clip them as much together, because you're not going to really push them as much. Down low, they get maybe kicked. or I'll be like, oh, watch this, I can do this, and step on it and slide, and like, oh, well, that wasn't supposed to work that way, but okay. Or have Kevin step on something like he did at Brickworld the one year where he stepped on it. I'm like, thanks. There's some. That's one way to kill the enemy, I guess. Just step on them, I guess. So. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, the minifigs is what takes time. I mean, and now a lot of them are armed where they used to not be armed, where now they've got the bows and stuff, and they just get dropped in the bin. So it's little bits of alterations and stuff. That's why if I get my like nephew who would be cool with, you know, straightening it, make sure the eyes look like they're coming through the masks, and the capes look good, and the bow looks in a good posture, you know, type kind of thing, and set some guys running. So I mean, it's just kind of stuff like that, and you know, but you know, I mean, everything takes time, and I mean that's why my one friend John, who has been cold turkey from Lego for about, I don't know, 9 years or so, is like wants to come back. When he comes back, he wants to be. You know, we're gonna end this right now. We're gonna end the live portion of this, guys. We'll do the after party. Okay. So